So, knowing all this information that we know about these crack addicts, it shouldn't be of any surprise that they like to keep this mental. They really try to avoid, like the physical, because that's when, of course, what is that? What is physical action? It's reality. So they don't want that. You notice they like to stay in their cars. They do stuff from far away because the last thing they want is for real physical altercations, because that would be real life, something that they are not involved in. Anything with reality, they're not involved in it. They live in a fantasy land. So they want to keep it fantasy. You understand? So the minute somebody goes out there and fucks them up and does something, they're taken back because that's not actually their goal. Their goal is to disturb you from a very far away, like location, or again, from their car. They're trying to keep you at bay because them, you having some sort of physical altercation with them, that's called real life. And they can't afford that. They can't afford real life because everything they do is make believe. So as long as they're over there, they're not going to stop. It's like, for example, like a person that, it's called provoking. Like they provoke and then they like run away. Like I'm telling you, it's like a person that does like a ding dong and ditch type of shit. Like very weak pussy shit. Like again, the last thing they want is actual physical altercations. You understand? And if they do somehow want a physical altercation, they always gotta make sure that somehow they're the ones who are gonna, in their mind, win. So, for example, if you're one person, they'll be like, well, we'll bring you 5 people to, like, for example, jump you or something. You get it? So if it does actually turn physical with these people, they're making sure that somehow they're gonna be at the upper hand, which is not always the case. Because, for example, there have been times where that happened and the person who was by themselves pulled out a gun and took the life of some of the people that were trying to jump them. So that was, in a way, like these people, they assumed that by sending a greater number of people that they would win the physical altercation. But then reality, which is what, like you can't plan sometimes for certain things to happen. And that's what happened. A dude pulled out his weapon and he killed some of the people. He shot them to death. I think there was like 5 people and he shot to death 2 of them. And he injured like the other 3. So, and then they let him off because it was deemed self-defense. So now these people, they didn't prepare for that, right? They prepared for, well, oh yeah, we're going to jump one man with 5 people. Turned out the man had a concealed carry weapons permit and he exercised his right of self-defense. So they're never going to win in reality. That's why they've decided, since certain like incidents have happened, they've again decided to go back from a distance. They bother you from a distance, like a little child dings your door and runs away, like, hee. It's all fun and games to these people. So that's another thing we learned about them. If they can afford it, if they can help it, they really don't want a physical altercation because that is real life, something that, again, they're trying to avoid because they live in fantasy land. You'll notice it. From a distance, they always make sure to stay in their car. They're scared. They're afraid. Like, it's weird how people who are so terrified still want to, do something that... It's weird. It's weird. It's like they consider what they're doing. Like, it gives them almost like that feeling. Like, they like a little kid that dings and ditches. They run away like, ah! They're scared. But again, about that. People have been shot to death for dinging and ditching. So again, another example of where reality won. Where again, these kids thought they were playing a game. And some disgruntled old man came out and killed them. So that's called real life. You know what I mean? People gotta understand what real life is. So I think these cowards, they're gonna be, from their cars, they're gonna rev. From over there though. They're gonna stay hidden, safe and cocooned inside their car. Safe and cowardly. Because the thing about real life and reality is you could never plan for unseen circumstances. So they don't like reality because These people, they love control. The mind games, they can always control that. Fantasy, they're writing it, they're typing it, they're making it up on the spot. But reality, it's uncontrolled. You can't control what happens in reality. I told you, there's always unforeseen circumstances. But fantasy land, you can control it. You're the own author of your fantasy world. And that's why they want to keep it fantasy. So, of course, having said that, what is the answer to these people? Real life action.